it's been very difficult. You have more police departments that have come online, so there are more jobs. Kind of draws people away from the profession.
The police department currently has 913 police officers. That's the lowest the department has seen since the early 1990s.
10 minutes after that child abuse call was transmitted, it appears there were still no officers en route.
One of the reasons the department cited is for staffing shortages was losing officers to nearby areas with better pay.
Late last year, Pennsylvania's governor signed a law lowering the physical fitness requirements potential officers need to complete before they can enter the police academy.
Forget calling the cops. Your neighborhood might soon have its own private security force. Police departments are crumbling and cash-strapped cities are turning to businesses to keep you safe. But is your protection now up for the highest bidder? And in a world where safety becomes a commodity, who gets left behind? Stick around to the end to see how this shift could leave the most vulnerable at even greater risk. New York City's police force is in a state of crisis. Thousands of officers short, hundreds leaving every month. With salaries low and morale even lower, those meant to protect are walking away. Patrick Hendry, head of the Police Benevolent Association, has a grim warning. No one is becoming an NYPD officer for the long haul. It's a stepping stone now. Meanwhile, the city scrambles to hire, but more officers are leaving than they can replace. Is this the beginning of the end for traditional policing? And who will keep us safe? The officer shortage isn't just a big city problem. Small towns across America are feeling the pain. In Goodhue, Minnesota, the entire police force resigned, forcing the town of 1,300 to rely on overworked county deputies. This trend is accelerating. At least 12 small towns have dissolved their police departments in the past 2 years alone. Sheriff Marty Kelly is struggling to fill vacancies in his own department, creating a vicious cycle where departments poach from each other, leaving gaps everywhere. Why are police leaving in droves?
It's my last night, my last moments, my last minutes in a police car. And I have resigned effective basically immediately tonight.
2020 dealt a 1-2 punch. The pandemic, followed by public outcry after George Floyd's murder.
It's a very scary thing when you don't have control of it and you see it all starting to flash in front of you very quickly.
Nearly 1,100 NYPD cops quitting before they're getting their full pensions?
Tanked morale. Retirements are up, resignations are skyrocketing, and fewer young people want the job.
We are seeing this crisis across the country because officers are just fed up.
This isn't just about safety. As towns lose their police, they risk losing their communities. The officer shortage isn't just about numbers, it's about your safety. According to New York City's own preliminary mayor's management report, NYPD response times to all crimes have increased by an alarming 2 minutes compared to last year. That's an average of 16 minutes for police to arrive on scene. This includes life-threatening situations where every second counts. While fewer officers and a surge in calls contribute to this, the bottom line remains. When you need help, it's taking longer to get it. The private security industry is booming. A recent report projects it will double in size over the next decade, reaching a staggering $531 billion by 2032. Why the explosion? Businesses, communities, and individuals are desperate to fill the gaps left by shrinking police departments. Specialized security is in high demand as industries like banking and healthcare need extra protection. Turns out, many people are willing to pay for what they believe is a faster, more reliable safeguard. From Detroit to Philadelphia, a wave of frustration is fueling the private security boom. Take Detroit, where the police force is severely understaffed. Since the city's bankruptcy, private firms have seen a 25% annual growth surge. One company, Threat Management Center, boasts an entire paramilitary Viper force patrolling for businesses and thousands of individuals. Police Chief Craig admits security guards offer some deterrence, but insists they can't fully replace officers. The need for protection has reached critical levels. In crime-plagued Philadelphia, gas station owners are taking extreme measures. Neil Patel, fed up with robberies and vandalism, hired guards equipped with AR-15s to stand watch. This bold act underscores the desperation businesses feel when the police response is slow or non-existent. It's not just businesses. Higher education is getting in on the act. At UC Berkeley, parents took the initiative, raising over $40,000 to create Safe Bears, a security force mimicking USC's Yellow Jackets program. These private patrols focus on student areas, offering escorts and a visible deterrent. The question is, does privatizing safety on campus signal a failing system? The line between public and private protection is getting blurry. In certain places, private security officers wield powers once reserved solely for law enforcement. Let's start with New York City, where special patrolmen are appointed by the police commissioner himself. While not full-fledged officers, they have limited peace officer powers within their designated areas. The scope of authority varies across the country. Virginia recognizes armed security officers who can make arrests on the property they protect, but their reach extends no further. Meanwhile, in some jurisdictions, private security personnel can even gain temporary police status. Take New Orleans, where the city council granted the right to deputize some city employees, allowing them to issue citations for minor violations. These individuals don't carry guns or make arrests, but this move still raises questions about who polices our communities. It's important to understand that the legality of special powers for private security is a patchwork dependent on local laws. This raises a key question. Are we comfortable with private companies and individuals assuming roles traditionally reserved for the government? With security often stationed on site or nearby, they can beat even the fastest police to the scene. While they may not always apprehend a suspect, they serve as eyes and ears, render first aid, or initiate critical procedures. Clients dictate the level of protection. This ranges from visible deterrence to armed guards, or even hybrid roles that combine security with other duties. This level of control can minimize the risk of escalation compared to a traditional police response. For some, keeping security matters in-house is a key benefit. Let's face it, sometimes the mere presence of security offers a sense of protection, even if their capacity is limited. It's about perception as much as reality. In a world where traditional policing is minimal, safety becomes a luxury. Only the wealthy may be able to afford private guards, leaving the rest vulnerable. A scenario chillingly reminiscent of Johannesburg, South Africa. Private security answers to clients or contractors, not the public. This strips away the citizen oversight essential for policing, leaving enormous potential for corruption. A recent viral case involving a Walgreens security guard showcases this danger. Despite a customer's denial and plea to call the police,
please. I'm giving you every option. Here, I'll sit down while you call them.
The guard allegedly harassed her on a suspicion of shoplifting.
He was approaching me, getting extremely close to me, uncomfortably close. Said he was going to put me in handcuffs.
Without proper checks and balances, such incidents could become more common.
A blatant lie on camera.
He said that he was going to put me in cuffs and take me down to the ground. I don't know who this man is.
Stop walking away.
Or what.
You're going to get detained, and you're going to go to the ground.
And you're going to get sued.
Imagine if clients start directing private forces to target specific groups. The potential for abuse is frightening. Let's explore two scenarios. This future isn't far-fetched. Continued budget cuts and officer shortages could leave traditional policing unsustainable. Technology, from AI to advanced surveillance, might make smaller, hyper-efficient police forces feasible. Would the need for large traditional departments even exist? Municipalities might keep what forces they can, outsourcing the rest to private firms. These firms could gain greater powers, like those of Virginia's Armed Security or NYC's Special Patrolmen. Specialized police units could be reserved for dire emergencies. The core issue is this. Private policing shifts power directly to those paying the bill. Will policing become a service accessed at will, determined by someone's ability to pay? Currently, policing is, in theory, funded for the collective good, paid for by society through taxes. Imagine the implications if your security relies on your monthly protection fee. Forgot to pay your HOA dues? Burglarized? Too bad. Business vandalized, but your security subscription lapsed? Good luck. These scenarios raise chilling questions about justice and fairness in a privatized system. Start your agency now. The statistics don't lie. The private security market is exploding. Maybe you're a guard ready to step up, or an entrepreneur eyeing opportunity. Who could blame you? But hold your horses, cowboy. Allied Universal has the lion's share and won't give it up easily. If you think they aren't already plotting their private police takeover, well, I've got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. Sure, maybe you can compete locally. Carve out a niche in your podunk town. Getting that security license is often a breeze. Slap down the fee, prove you weren't a total screw-up as a guard, get bonded, and boom, you're in business. Now, the real fun starts. Buying uniforms, cars, and all that overhead, then convincing folks to hire you. Sounds easy? Maybe, but it's far from simple. The big dogs already undercut contracts, squeezing profits by squeezing their guards' wages. If you haven't got a problem with that, then hey, maybe you're more cutthroat than I thought. And don't get me started on the complaints from upstart agencies struggling to win contracts, let alone staff them. Now imagine those same issues, only your guys have police-like powers. That's a headache with lawsuits just waiting to happen. Pay your new private cops well, and they'll likely stick around. Stiff them, and you'll just be repeating history. Staffing shortages all over again, just in a shiny new uniform. We started with a question, is our safety for sale? The answer seems to be a resounding yes. This isn't just about staffing shortages, it's about the very fabric of our communities. What kind of society do we become when protection is a product, not a right? It's a question worth fighting about in your neighborhood, your town hall, and in the voting booth. If you liked this video, check out my video on New York Governor Kathy Hochul's deployment of the National Guard to secure NYC subways. Subscribe and consider using my Amazon affiliate link in the description to support the channel.